Hi there, this is Freddy. I want to show you one track that I did for the last Yu-Gi-Oh movie, which is called The Dark Side of Dimensions. And it was in theaters about a month ago, and it's gonna be released on DVD soon. And they are actually doing another release on theaters, kind of like a limited release. I'm not sure of the date yet, but yeah, I think they announced it already. So what I want to do is just go through this track. This is the main title, so it's gonna give you a good idea of the feel of the movie, and I'm just gonna find things that might be interesting for other composers, or maybe even for fans that wanna learn a little bit about the music. So let's just play first, and we go from there. Here we go. Okay, so that's it. So what you hear is the introduction. What happened on the film is that we start, we see the stars, we see kind of this space shot. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the feeling when you watch the old Star Trek movies that usually start in space, kind of like a slow theme, slow um, movement, because you're flying in space slowly, right? So that's kind of the feel that we get on this intro. But we also have some quick elements and fast stuff that is moving within that. So we kind of have to score both. We need that slow pacing. It's the intro of the movie. It's a big moment, but at the same time, you want to pull you in slowly. It's gonna be a 2-hour film, and but we also want to score a little bit of those little thing that happens. So I think you probably heard some of that already, and we should definitely talk about that. So first thing, we have a few pads, just introducing the film. Pretty basic stuff. I can play it. I can play them right here. So yeah, it's all this. It's just kind of creating different colors. Most of the stuff that I use is from Zebra, specifically the Pulsar library from Pulsator that we did, and there's also quite a few paths from Albion. I'm using a lot of that too, which I really like, and some other stuff from Omnisphere, but it's mostly Zebra, I think. So yeah, we have those paths, then we have a little bit of strings on top, high note and so on, and then we start playing the theme. And the theme, the first time you hear it, is these big brasses right here. So there's a few things happening here. We have the theme, which is kind of a slow, open theme, and we also have that quick thing going on top, right? Those woodwinds playing fast. They kind of sneak in right here. Then they go slow. They stay there, they're super soft. So the idea is to score that feeling, also add some color and texture to what we have there. But we scoring the quick stuff that is happening, and also adding a little bit of pacing. But I don't wanna keep the pacing going through the whole thing. We're just introducing this, so I just want that texture to come in and disappear. The way we do it is having this quick ostinato, fading in, fading out. I can play it. I'm just gonna mute it so you see what it's doing. And then the low woodwind takes over. It's almost like they want to start doing that groove, but they kind of disappear. And I think we're also doubling that with the low strings. Like we have bass and cello as well, playing the low thing. So that kind of stays there, very, very, very soft. So you give you a little bit of the groove, but it's not very present. It's almost like a subconscious thing. We're still playing the theme, the slow theme on top. By the way, so let me just talk about the thing. It's a very simple theme, very open theme. It's almost like an arpeggio. What the melody is doing is basically an arpeggio of 2 chords. So let me play you the brasses. Right. So if I play it. So it's a very, very, very subtle thing. So it's like an introduction, basically, right? So that's it. And once we establish that, we kind of repeat it here. Okay, so now we really start with the main title. Now we start with the verse. What would be the verse? We have if we were talking about a song form, right? And this is what's going on here. Oh, by the way, we have a couple of interesting things going on here in the strings. They're kind of adding some trills effect, just to add a little bit of that kind of almost like a magical, spacey feel to it right here. Let me just play it. It's not MIDI, it's audio because it's already rendered. Here's the MIDI stuff anyway, so you can see it. But this is what happened in here with the strings. So it's just 2 major trills going on, whole steps. They come and go also. Okay, right now is when this really starts, right? So we get the theme playing now on the strings, and we also have a little bit more pacing. Listen to this. Listen to this synth here on the bottom. It's very, very subtle. Let me just solo it so you can identify now. So that's it. That's the only thing playing faster there, and that's enough to add that urgency feel that we get, and we still in space. Everything else is playing slowly, but we get that little internal groove going on now. So you can probably hear it now. So we have now the strings playing the melody. It's actually not the same theme. The same theme is a variation. It's kind of teasing the theme, and that's very important. I'm gonna explain why. Let me just grab these two strings so we can. So we had the theme was this, right? Sorry. Then, but now things start getting a little more interesting with the theme. Now we get the strings playing, the cellos. So what we're doing is we're just playing the same shape of the theme, but we're kind of modulating. And then so it's just this theme keeps playing, but it doesn't really resolve where you expect it to go. And that's kind of creating a little bit of expectation. And as far as the harmony, it's very simple. We have this kind of thing going on, which is the minor chord going half step down to a major chord. And then, so we go from D minor and we go to D flat major, right? So once we're here, we can move to A flat major, A minor, easy. We have this relationship, which we already had it on D. So we go here, now minor, and we do the same thing. So it sounds like, I mean, there's many ways to explain it harmonically, but right now I think what it makes sense is that we're just repeating the same shape, the same thing. So you expect to hear something like this. So it sounds fine. I'm on C square and G, we can move easily to D again, because it's the same kind of relations that we had here. Yeah, right? Like moving in fourths. So once we're here, we start again the sequence. So the whole thing would sound something like this. And here. Then again. Something more weighted. Right, and but the last time, and I'm gonna show you here, you have all this expectation building, but you're gonna see what happened after. So let me just play that section again, now that you see more or less what my intention was. So we're still in space. We haven't seen anything related to Yu-Gi-Oh actually yet. Same, but bigger. Brasses and choir. Here. We finally resolved to the original theme, which is what we have been wanting to hear. You know, the ear, that's what we show you first, and the ear's kind of expecting to hear that. So final. This harmony, this change. Again, it's very simple, but the expectation is there. So this is a huge moment on the screen, and this is when we finally see something related to Yu-Gi-Oh! And all this has been a kind of a tease, almost like introduction to to this world. But we finally see Kaiba space base, and this is the moment right here. You see the base. So it's huge. It's a huge moment. Now we're in Yu-Gi-Oh! Okay, so now we see Kaiba in the base, and we kind of score a little bit of what's going on. I'm not really scoring Kaiba directly. I don't want to go. I still want to keep some distance from the Yu-Gi-Oh world. I'm kind of flying from far, I guess. Showing you a little bit of what we're going to get into it. So we're seeing Kaiba from far. Let's put it that way. So I'm not playing his theme or anything. I keep going with the same introduction main title mood for him. So this is what we're here. So we're seeing Kaiba here. It's the same rhythm in the melody, right? So it's the same theme, same kind of pattern as far as the melody. We're just playing this kind of relationship. But the melody is kind of playing the same rhythm as we had in the main title, right? And that's kind of scoring a little bit of Kaiba without going that specifically with his theme. Now we had another build up, and again to the theme. Okay, so here what you hear is these fast strings playing. That's kind of transitioning to the main part, is kind of helping the build up, right? Let me just play it together with this. On the Woodwinds as well. Yeah. Go for it. So that's the transition here, right? And then we start getting the theme again, and this is the developed theme. We were coming back to the beginning, but bigger, and we have kind of a little twist on the theme, which gets a little more interesting now. Now we that we were getting we got used to it. We can play with it a little bit more. So this is what's going on the strings till the end, and the Woodwinds. So this is fast strings. Yeah, so that's it. This is, it sounds a little bit sloppy when you play it like that. You play solo, but it's kind of on purpose. I don't want to quantize or anything. I want to leave it like that, because when you hear the whole thing together with the orchestra, it sounds a little bit more alive. Sounds like our players instead of sounding too computerized. So. Kind of the same shape of the theme. It just goes faster. It has it's a little bit passing note there, but it's the same shape. So this is the biggest part of the moment. This is when we see the credits. So that's why it gets so big. So yeah. And obviously we have this big choir. Is the biggest choir moment on the main title, which, by the way, we have a lot of those through the movie. It helps a lot, to make things bigger and epic and more filmic. So we're using them a lot. So let me just show you just the choir to see what's playing. Here. Yeah, so I'm using a couple of libraries. I'm using Requiem. That's what is playing those. Let me just solo it so you can hear. So this is the sustain notes. playing half notes, and each note it has a different kind of pronunciation, right? So it sounds like they're saying something. And then we have a counterpoint with the staccato notes that are playing something faster, so you hear that kind of thing going on within the choir, which makes it more interesting. And now we have also this tenor playing here, and this is from East West, and also this high soprano playing the big the high notes that you hear. Super high. Yeah, that's it. When you hear the whole thing, obviously, it sounds much bigger. And well, what else we have? We have the Woodwinds also playing the quick stuff that we heard before. And that thing we played at the beginning with the Woodwinds, they were playing that kind of fast ostinato. This is what we're playing at the end, I guess. So it was kind of a preparation to get there, so you get used to that idea. So then when I play it again, it sounds like something that you're familiar with. It's just not gonna throw you off. So this is what happened here. This is the same shape. So that's it. As far as the percussion, it's very simple. I'm using just cinematic percussion and some of the Albion thing. I'm not doing anything super huge. The idea was kind of keep that traditional orchestral sound. I don't want to sound super big. Still very hybrid. We have those scenes going on. It's kind of a modern thing, but we also wanted to go a little bit more traditional in a way. So that it feels more filmic, which is kind of in contrast with what we used to do for the TV show, which was more modern, I guess, because it had more scenes. But now if we play that, it's just gonna sound old because a lot of the stuff is dated. But the orchestral, you have that traditional sound that is always there. People like it. It doesn't go. It doesn't sound dated if you kind of use it in a modern way. So that's it. That's the main title. Let me know if you have any particular questions about it. It's a pretty simple introduction to Yugi. I'm probably gonna make another video with one of the action cues, which are super complicated, super complex. They have a lot of changes, a lot of modulation, but I think this was a nice way to get going with the Yu-Gi-Oh world, and see if it's something that people might be interested in. So thanks for watching, and let me know if you have any comments, and see you next time. Bye bye.